I can only imagine how many words you already have in your flashcards. But you need to understand, do you really need that many words if you will never use them? You don't learn a poem in order then successfully to forget it. Yeah. Even for learning words, you need to have a reason. In today's video, I will share useful tips that helped me to conquer a vocab struggle and finally use those new words in conversation. Hi everyone, you're welcome to my YouTube channel, Simon. So let's get started. Learn what you use regularly. If you learn just to learn random words that you found on the first website, well, unlikely you will ever use them. For instance, you learn words about wild animals, and if you don't have any person with whom you can talk about it, unless you're about to visit a zoo and take a tour for other people, you don't need those words. It's better to focus on the most important firstly, and after that you can learn whatever you want. However, always remember about the reason. Why do you need to learn that word or phrase? Yeah. Even for learning words, you need to have a reason. You have to be sure that you will truly use these words in the future, not just once. Otherwise, you simply waste your time. I've noticed that even half a year ago, I was learning words without any reason, as I was too desperate on quantity of the words that I neglected quality of that. I'm sure that at least once you came across those lists with words online, just random ones. And when you look at this list, you think, wow, if I will learn all these words, my English will improve. But your English will not improve if you will never use these words. Learn in context. You just learn one word out of context, check its translation, and repeat it for 3 times. That's the best learning practice, isn't it? Okay. Do remember each word that you learned this way. I'm convinced that if you learn words like that, you will never actually use them in your conversation. I'm talking about conversation because you can know this word perfectly and recall it without any problems when you review your flashcards, for example, but you will not recall it during a conversation with someone. So the best way is to learn in context. Actually, all the words we learn in context, we see them somewhere. If you don't learn those huge lists with words, it doesn't make any sense for sure. So you saw a certain word or heard it in context. Try not to cut it out of there, but learn in it. You can write the whole phrase with this word to your flashcards. It's much better than one single word. When we learn just single words, we don't know how to add them to a conversation naturally. We think that, oh my god, it will be so weird if I will use this phrase or word, and eventually we don't use them because we are scared. I had so many situations when I know that word and I want to use it in a conversation, but I just don't do that because it's so weird for me, as I've never seen that word in context. Also, you can check some examples with this word online, and don't forget to come up with your own examples. Check explanation in English instead of checking translation of this word in your native language. Why not to do that in English? I mean, it's not just that one word in your native language in Google Translator that shows you its translation, but it's the whole phrase with explanation of this word. By this, firstly, you will improve your vocab, because in explanation of this word, you'll find even more words. And secondly, even if you will forget this word, it wouldn't be a problem for you to explain it in other words. Also, try to come up with associations to this word. It's such a nice method, especially if this word looks unusual, or you can even come up with an interesting association in your native language. I've learned plenty of words this way, especially when I was lazy to come up with examples for each of them. Don't learn plenty of words per one session. Imagine you see a huge list with 15 words and you want to learn all of them, but you respect your time and you think that it will be a good idea to learn all of these words at once, and somehow later you will recall them just magically and you will even use them in your conversation. But the truth is, you will remember only 4, if not only 2 words from this list. Why? because it's impossible to learn that many words through one session. You don't learn a poem in order then successfully to forget it. These are words that you will use in your life, preferably even unconsciously during conversation. So once again, focus on quality rather than on quantity. If you will learn just 5 words, but you will do that mindfully, you will come up with examples for each of them, you will create your associations, it will be more beneficial for you. And by the way, I'm not sure that you will bother to come up with even only one example for each of those 15 words. Consume content consciously. One of the best ways to learn vocab is for sure in context. So movies, books, videos on YouTube are the best tools for that. Let's take, for instance, YouTubers. They use daily vocab in their videos, so it can be really beneficial for your progress, as you will use the same in your speech. Every time when you hear a new word translated, or even if you already understood its translation but you didn't know this word before, remember the context in which you heard this word, and after watching a video you will need to come up with your own examples. I've noticed that if I will hear this word several times in the video, I will learn it forever. You hear it in different contexts and you create this connection. The same thing with books. Here is even better because you have this text in front of your eyes. You don't just listen to it. I found one more good way to learn words that will come in handy. Just check your Google Translate history. If you translated that word, that means that you were really interested in it, as you will not translate every single word when you're not interested in them at all. No need to learn new words every day. Every day you dedicate 15 minutes of your precious time to learn new words, because for you it's already a habit, but actually not that good. I know that you can think that if you will learn 5 new words every day, you will know so many words by the end of the year. But let's come back to the ropes. Firstly, why do you need to learn that many words? And do you really use them in your real life? You can revise old words every day, but learning new information every day is not that good, especially if you just learn and not incorporate to your life. Incorporate new words daily. I suppose it's the most important part, as what do we learn words for if not for using them in conversations? Note, I'm not talking about learning new words. I'm talking about actual practice. Even if you don't talk to natives every day, you can still practice it. For instance, pick 5 words of the day and leave them somewhere where you will come across them very often. When you see them, try to come up with a sentence with this word. In communication with other people, there is also a good way to do that. Write down 5 words and try to use each of them at least for 2 times during a conversation. Of course, don't forget about the context. Don't just use this phrase because you need to use it so desperately. Always pay attention to the context. In time, you will see that these words will automatically appear in your brain because they will become a part of your vocabulary in your brain, not just a part of your flashcards app. Review words that you've already learned. Of course, if you will not review them at least once a week, you'll forget them very easily, as we don't have such an opportunity to use all the words that we learned in one conversation. If you use flashcards, it will be very fast and easy for you. But remember, don't just revise them. Make sentences with each of them. I know that a lot of people create so many flashcards that they are not even able to revise all of them. I can only imagine how many words you already have in your flashcards. But you need to understand, do you really need that many words if you will never use them? So I advise you to review only those ones that you are sure that they will come in handy in the future. For instance, there is no need to go through the words about auto parts every day if you never actually talk about cars. And there you have it, the secret recipe to effortlessly memorizing vocab. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay in the loop. Until next time, bye.